Like it so.
So I finally finished Black Myth Wukong. Yep, I did it and didn't tell anyone about it. Call me mysterious like that. This might not seem like a big deal to most people, but if you look back at my first video, which is dated 7 months ago, you can see I went through quite the mental battle getting through this game. And celebrating my accomplishments, I'm going to go through New Game Plus and have it playing in the background. Specifically in the starting area, which like I said is the place I had the biggest mental battle. This first area as a newbie gamer, and I say that in quotation marks, was so challenging for me. It forced me to realize that my years playing FIFA and other ball and gun games here and there really meant nothing. I thought I was decent at games because I'm pretty smart and I typically find solutions quickly, but bruh, I was wrong. The beginning phase of the game completely tore me apart. Not just gameplay wise, but also my confidence in myself, the effort I had to put in to be the type of person to fight through hard times and believe that one day I will do it as long as I stuck with it. It was really hard and challenging just to get past that. This game taught me so much about how to fight through hard things. You can't even believe it. I still have a long way to go, but this game ended up being my favorite game of all time. And part of me almost kind of hates admitting that just because of how much it made me go through. I wish I could say I'm able to now fight through other Souls or challenging games, but I can't. Because unfortunately, I'm stuck in Elden Ring. But that's another video. I think the major difference I keep coming back to with Elden Ring and Black Myth Wukong while playing at the same time, I just noticed I enjoyed Black Myth Wukong more than Elden Ring, even though they were both difficult. Elden Ring was fun when I was exploring, but the constantly losing at Radon, who actually wasn't that difficult, but the fact that the game was frustrating and it felt so stale compared to the cool things I was experiencing in Black Myth Wukong combat wise made Elden Ring feel so unenticing. I felt like I was playing Elden Ring to prove a point, but Black Myth Wukong felt like a hype game. I feel like it made sense. The game was so cool, and Jethro described it as saucy, and I agree. Where Elden Ring was fun when exploring, but the bosses made me feel like I just had to continue doing the same things, like dodging and then hit once, dodge, hit once, run away. But with Black Myth Wukong, it made me have to think of and actually try different powers and skills. It felt like it was testing me in different ways. Anyways, Elden Ring is a great game, so I paused on it, playing it so that I can give myself the time again to want to come back to it. I finally hit that phase, and yeah, I definitely will be coming back to fix it. But back to what I love about Black Myth Wukong. Gameplay. I love the skill tree and combat. For me, it felt great because I got introduced to things in a progressive way instead of being bombarded by options. I think this more highlights my gaming introduction to open world games versus Elden Ring specifically being something that was overwhelming. I think as somebody who is a newbie gamer, I would need to be introduced to a game that has a more linear experience to be introduced to things in a very slow pace versus Elden Ring that kind of just throws everything at you and lets you decide. But anyways, with Black Myth Wukong, it was nice because it didn't really rely on me stumbling across things, but whenever I came across something through the typical linear progression, the game still forced me to use everything to figure out how to beat the boss. At first, the difficulty was high, but that's because I was trying to play like a Souls game or Elden Ring, and Lies of P specifically, because that's all I've played somewhat. But yeah, I was trying to play like those games and constantly upgrading my weapons and focus on dodging and different soul tricks to beat the boss. But I realized that you really had to look at your abilities, skills, and build to see if it's suitable for the boss. You can brute force with certain bosses, but there are bosses like Erlong and the Great Sage where it forces you to actually not use cheap tricks. Overall, the combat was the best part, and the exploration and bosses were so different, it didn't feel like I was fighting the same 7 bosses. And what I also really enjoyed was that even in the area bosses, the general area bosses, they were all different types of enemies. They were all unique. The story overall was great if someone could explain what it even was. I have a vague idea of what the Journey to the West is, but not at all. It's the type of game that leads you to watch hours of lore videos. If someone played Elden Ring and said it doesn't have a story, I think it would be even worse for them with Black Myth Wukong. I don't think I would change the amount of story that was given for more because I kind of like jumping into the game and playing. I do think all the bosses having stories and journal entries was interesting as well as the animations at the end of each chapter. Overall, I enjoyed it and it felt deep and ancient and just cool. Side quests. There was only one major side quest that I remember which was more confusing than fun. I barely remember it, so I think that speaks for itself. Level design, I think, was the biggest miss for me. The areas were cool, Sometimes it would be ultra linear and sometimes open world. I wanted to explore every section of the game when I was in chapter 1 through 4, but once I got to 5 and 6, I was just ready to focus on the main path. So that's how I know how I felt about it. It just got too much during chapter 5 through 6. NPCs were pretty easy, and then you have the hard bosses, which I think was not a great thing. I do compare it to Elden Ring's NPCs that were very scary. I was terrified of the NPCs, and a lot of times I had to consider whether or not I should even engage with the NPCs, so it felt a lot more immersive. Versus Black Myth Wukong, I feel like I was just using the NPCs to level up. In Black Myth Wukong, there were so many secret areas, which was cool. I realized there was a secret area because I would look at the journal a lot and would see if I got the bosses in an area. It's also the way that I realized I had some more meditation spots to go through, but honestly I did have to use YouTube videos to figure out where they are. Some of my favorite moments in the game was really the boss intros. I have a little bit of some of them here. It was really cool to see the different intros of the different bosses. Specifically, Non-White's intro was one of my favorites. It's very cinematic. And then after going through that specific narrow way that the boss came from too was an insane experience. So I definitely love that. Overall, the game's world is awesome, so pretty and cultural. Everything felt like it meant something. Everything felt deep and non-superficial. It made everything more immersive, and I was so curious about the world and the story of it all.
You have some cheap tricks. Meet me at...
Music was great in the game. I remember mostly the chapter animations, which could be real TV shows, I think, especially the final music video. That one was insanely good. I feel like it should be an anime. I feel like it would be great to introduce people to the Journey to the West story, since many different inspos came from it. Alright, now let's talk about criticism. As great as the game was, there's still some things that could use improvement, in my opinion. Number 1, I hated the Pagoda Realm. Delete that from the game. I think a lot of people can agree with me. The Pagoda Realm was just miserable. Maybe it doesn't need to be fully removed, but I hope that the next game reconsiders how to incorporate something like that. It was definitely unique and a different experience, but I think it was just not executed well.
Mind is a fool's task. Seeing but seeing through is what wise men do. But didn't he turn mad by what he saw too?
Number 2, the spider area, the underground area, that was a maze. Even with the map, and I hated that place. So anybody who played this game without the map, I don't know how you did it. Number 3, chapter 3, the map was too big for no reason. It just felt endless and I had no idea why. I think a lot of the architecture, it made sense that it was so massive. I liked it, but there were some moments that I was just like, it doesn't stop. Number 4, there was one boss that had like 4 stages to his boss battle, and that was so necessary. I believe that was the final boss of chapter 3. That was insane. It was. I'm so happy that you, at least if you beat the boss at a specific stage, you didn't have to start the whole thing over again. But yeah, that was a lot. Number 5, sometimes there would be no regs, and I just wanted to quit because it felt like I would try to hit the boss and it would just completely not register. Number 6, this is not a criticism, but I just need this to be heard. I hate Erlong, and I hope he doesn't rest in peace. Moving on. Number 7, There was some weird visual effects where there was too much smoke for a boss, like the spider boss or the scorpion boss. I literally couldn't see anything. And even the boss in chapter 2, the last boss, the final boss in chapter 2, there was just so much going on. Number 8. I hated the bosses that would make me walk an eternity before I could get to them. It was so annoying, specifically the dragon. That was so frustrating. Number 9. The audio at the end stage of the game was starting to not match the mouth. I don't know what that was, but you can definitely tell, and it kind of broke immersion sometimes. Alright, so yeah. Overall, this game, I wasn't scared while playing. I was very comfortable, but when things got challenging, it was really challenging. I mean, I was stuck on Erlang for months. I even moved houses by the time I beat Erlang. It's not the typical game. I know where people will say this game challenged me, but it was an insane reality check for me and humbling, as it was my first time playing a challenging action game all the way through. It taught me a lot about myself, how to play Elden Ring and force myself through it. The game is fun, but I think I just jump around too much, which is why it was affecting me. So I focus on Black Myth Wukong, and I will focus on Elden Ring, taking it slow so that I can have a full great ending to my first playthrough of the game. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you like. Overall, Black Myth Wukong is a great game. I highly recommend it.
九铁即是绝无力，大手铁炮造虎旗。Like it so.